Hi, I'm Jenny. Welcome to English with Jenny. In today's lesson, you're going to learn how to speak more fluently in English. Let me ask you something. How long have you been studying English? Do you sometimes feel that even though you study hard, you still can't speak fluently? Maybe you've learned lots of grammar and vocabulary. But when it's time to speak, it's difficult to form sentences smoothly. If that sounds familiar, don't worry. In this lesson, we're going to talk about what fluency really means and what you can do to improve your English. Fluency step by step. When people talk about fluency, they often mean speaking a language well in general. For some learners, speaking English fluently simply means having a strong level of English overall. But fluency is actually more specific than that. Fluency means being able to speak smoothly, without stopping too often or hesitating. And fluency has two sides. One side is physical. Your mouth needs to produce and connect English sounds and words quickly and smoothly. The other side is mental. Your brain needs to find the right words and build English sentences fast, without getting stuck. So, to become more fluent, you need to work on both sides. The physical side and the mental side. But first, there are many techniques you can use to improve fluency. But if you truly want to become more fluent, there is one thing you absolutely must do. Get out there and speak English. Talk to people. Have conversations regularly. Nothing else is as important as this. Reading improves reading. Listening practice improves listening. But speaking? Nothing improves speaking except speaking. Speaking English is a practical skill. It's not an academic subject you can master from a book. It's much more like playing a sport or learning a musical instrument. You need consistent practice to improve. So how often should you practice? As often as you can. There's no maximum, but I recommend spending at least 2 to 3 hours a week speaking English if you want real progress. So what are your options? You can go to classes, talk to expats in your city, join English-speaking groups or activities, find an online conversation partner, or do a language exchange. There are so many possibilities, and by the way, it doesn't have to be language-focused. Anything you do in English that makes you speak is valuable practice. Now, I can guess what many of you are thinking. But I don't have anyone to talk to. But I'm shy. But it feels too difficult. Let's talk about that. Speaking a foreign language is hard. Situations that feel easy in your own language can feel difficult in another language. And situations that already feel difficult in your language can feel almost impossible in a foreign one. That's completely normal. When we start learning a language, it's easy to imagine that one day everything will feel comfortable. But unless you live fully inside another culture and speak the language every day, that probably won't happen. Trust me. I've studied several languages in my life and speak them quite well, but it never feels completely easy. So why are we talking about this? Because I want to motivate you to practice more, to speak more. And to do that, you have to accept something important. It will feel uncomfortable and intimidating sometimes. That's part of the process. But don't let it stop you. You can still communicate. You can still practice. And you can still improve. Let me share an example from my own experience. I hate making phone calls in another language. I don't know why, but I find them especially intimidating. Maybe because you can't use facial expressions or context to help you understand. I lived in Russia and studied Russian. I hated phone calls in Russian. Then I lived in China and studied Chinese. I hated phone calls in Chinese. Now I'm studying Greek. And guess what? I hate making phone calls in Greek, too. It still feels difficult. I haven't found a magic trick to make it easy. The only thing I've learned is to accept the feeling. That's it. I still do it, because sometimes I have to. I accept that I'll feel nervous, and I speak anyway. And I do communicate. Feeling nervous does not stop you from communicating. This will be true for you, too. Maybe it's phone calls. Maybe it's presentations. Maybe it's speaking to strangers. The key point is this. You must learn to deal with pressure. Don't think. It feels scary, so I won't do it. It won't feel less scary later. The only way to make it easier is to go out and do it. And if you do, you'll become more confident. It will get a little easier with time. Now, fluency is not only about speaking more. There are other techniques you can practice too. So let's continue. Find a text in English. It could be from a textbook, a newspaper, a blog, anything. Just make sure it's fairly easy for you. Don't choose something full of new vocabulary or far above your level. Now, sit down with a timer. Read the text aloud. Time yourself. Then read it again. Try to beat your previous time. Keep repeating this. See how fast you can read smoothly. Why does this help? Because part of fluency is physical. Your mouth needs to produce English sounds and words quickly and naturally. Speed reading is an excellent way to train that skill. And the best part? You can do it anywhere, for 5 minutes or 30 minutes. Every little bit helps. Now let's look at another technique. Find a song in English, something you enjoy. Look up the lyrics online. If you're not sure where, just type the song title and the word lyrics into Google. Then, play the song. Read the lyrics. And sing along. Just like speed reading, singing helps with the physical side of fluency. Because when you sing, you must follow the speed and rhythm of the song. Start with slower songs, then try faster ones. Choose something challenging but still possible. This is a fun and powerful way to improve your fluency. You can do one song a day, and you'll notice progress quickly. I used this technique a lot when I was learning Chinese. And it helped me a lot. Now, speed reading and songs help with physical fluency. But what about the mental side? Let's talk about that. Here's an important question. How do you learn vocabulary? Many students do something like this. They write down a word, write the translation, and try to memorize it. But what does that have to do with fluency? Well, think about it. This method makes your brain work in an unnatural way. First, you learn words individually. But when you speak, you don't use single words. You use phrases and sentences. Second, you learn English through your own language. You're not thinking in English. You're translating. So maybe you do this. You create a sentence in your own language. Then translate word by word into English. If you don't know one word, you get stuck. You stop speaking. This habit will always slow you down. You're trying to think in 2 languages at once. So what should you do instead? Learn language in chunks, phrases and sentence patterns. For example, someone asks, "What are you doing this weekend?" Here are 3 natural answers. I'm going to see some old friends. I'm thinking of going for a bike ride. I might do some odd jobs around the house. Now build your own. I'm going to. I'm thinking of. I might. Make 2 or 3 different sentences for each one. That way, when someone asks the question, you don't need to translate. You just remember the whole phrase. Now take another example. I went for a walk yesterday. Keep the structure but change the ending. Yesterday. Now create 2 to 3 new sentences. I took an exam yesterday. I was lazy all day yesterday. I cooked a spicy curry yesterday. Practice sentences like this. It's a much more natural way to learn vocabulary. And it will help you respond fluently, because you'll think in English, not translate. Alright, that's the end of today's lesson. I hope you learned something useful about spoken fluency and how you can improve your English step by step. You can find more free lessons right here on English with Jenny. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.